GKFX Prime presents the Market Analysis Webinar.
Hello traders, welcome back to another week in the markets. My name is Dima. I will be your analyst for this week. As ever, I'm going to take you through some higher probability setups for this week, which is the beginning of the final quarter and also the beginning of a new month of October. Let's see what we've got in the charts for this week. I hope you're doing well, and welcome back if you are joining me once again on another video. And if you're new here, then welcome to you as well. So I hope you enjoy this video and get some value out of the setups we're going to be looking at this week. So I'm going to start as ever with the calendar for the week, the economic calendar. On Monday, we've got CPI numbers on the Swiss franc here from Switzerland. We've got on Tuesday a bigger news from Australia, the rates announcement from there, so look out for that. USD, we've got job numbers as well on Tuesday, and we have a speech from the European Central Bank, so that will be euro related. Wednesday, we have got rates on New Zealand, so that will be something to bear in mind. And on oil, we've got OPEC meetings, so that will be related to obviously the spot oil price and also the CAD. Thursday, from Japan, we've got the Bank of Japan speech, so that will be a major one, and also a major one will be euro that I've highlighted here. We'll have the ECB monetary accounts results there. So Friday will be a big day. We've got CAN employment figures, and of course, because it's the first week of the month, as usual, NFP. So the markets may be preparing for that during the week, but we've got big news throughout the week, lots to pay attention to this week. So could be an interesting one. Let's see how that configures with the charts that we've got for this week. Okay. Right then, let's begin. So I've picked out a few setups here. We do have to be a little bit more careful because typically during the beginning of the month, and especially now beginning a new quarter, the markets do take a little bit of time to set before giving clear direction. It's not always very clear. The probabilities reduce slightly. I'm just talking out of experience here, so just keep that as a factor in your choice of setups. So let's have a look what we've got for this week. Let's go for it one by one. Let's start with the Forex pairs. So let's begin with the Euro Aussie here. If we look at last week, we have closed very bullish last week, and it looks like the market is now coming up to reach the high over here and possibly a further retracement. If I draw the fib here, we can see that the 61 level is up here. So I'm just going to draw that in, and then I'll also mark the 78 retracement here. I'll take off the fib. Let's take off these lines over here, not necessary anymore. So let's clean up the chart for a little bit. Okay, that's better. Right, so I'll be looking at this level right here as a first target, which is about 150 pips away, and then the next one is a further 300 pips. So we've got bullishness in the market so far. However, we are in a downward trend, so that's also a factor to bear in mind because we may be going against the overall trend for now. So bearing that in mind, and now we have got here this very big move last week, over 550 pips, big move. So let's have a look where would be a good price to enter. Well, I can see this level right here. It should be a nice retracement. Should that happen, then that will be a high probability buy scenario to move to the upside and the next level, getting a nice cheap price. And the invalidation point would be this low here. As a break of that low would be an invalidation of the structure, break of structure, and the market could then head lower. So let's see if we get that nice reaction from this level right here. Nice deep retracement below the 50% level of this recent move, which was about 300 pips. So that's the outlook on Euro Aussie. Continued bullishness, at least in the short term for the next week. Next one, I have Pound Aussie, which is also related with the Euro Aussie. So just bear that in mind, and also bear in mind the news. So let's have a look at Pound Aussie. Similar situation here, isn't there? We had this massive wick to the downside. Look at that. We dropped 700 pips and then moved up 1,500 pips in 1 week. Huge volatility there. Looking on the 4 hour, you can see that massive drop on the pound and then massive rally, breaking these structural highs. So with that bullishness, I would look to continue that bullishness to the next level. So again, I'll delete that from previous weeks. Don't need these markings. Okay, so here we are. We've got the next swing point right here, and after that we have this one right here. So that's where I'll be looking for the market to possibly reach to if we get there. So a continuation of that bullishness. Again, where would I look for a nice better price? Well, here was that swing, and around here would be a nice reaction. So that's about 100 or so pips away. Make it a bit of a lower if it doesn't necessarily turn around here and we go higher to the next level. I'll be looking for the next level of interest, which would be down here, and we've got this sort of zone, this sort of area right here, which we have a break of this swing. However, because of this big move up and this gap in the market where we have not had price come back into, this is a possibility as well for an even cheaper price to continue to the upside, and that will be an even better risk to reward scenario there. So that's what I'll be looking at here on the Pound Aussie. Okay, let me move to the next one. So next I'm going to look at the Pound Swiss. So Pound Swiss here, let's just clear all of this up, and we have a nice clean chart. See what we're looking at here. Okay, so similar picture here, Pound Swiss and Pound Aussie. We have a big bullish candle here, so I would look to have a possible further upside on the Pound Swiss here. Looking at the daily, we had these big bullish candles. So now I am going to look for a continuation. 4 hour. So here we are, and I'm going to look for the next clear zone. So I have a zone here. So my expectation, if we have a even deeper retracement, is again a nice better price, possibly lower, and then going further up. And the next level up is up here. So this is the similar idea. A nice deep retracement, get a better price, and then continue to the upside strength on the pound based on last week's big bullish candle. That is a very big 800 pip candle. And we'll see what happens from there. We'll have to see if the market actually wants to reach higher to the next levels. We'll see when we get to the first port of call right here at 1.116. Okay, so that is the Pound Swiss outlook here. Let's now move on to the next chart. So next chart here, I'm going to look at, let's have a look at gold. I think we'll move on to gold next. Okay, so I'm gonna just have a look at what did we look at last week. So last week we looked at this zone, which we did not have a reaction here. We had a minor reaction here with no reversal. The market continued higher. So now let's reassess the situation, reevaluate where we're at. We had this level which we broke through, so I'm going to get rid of that. And we had this level down here as the next possible place to reach for. Now, let's see what we've got here. We had a reaction just before that level, and the market created higher highs, created higher lows. Looking at the weekly, we had a bullish close, but we do have this wick at the top, which indicates that there may yet be a little bit more downside before a full reversal. So we do have NFP, really have to bear that in mind, and this may be a trickier one to trade because we may see some volatility kicking in, and we may also see some accumulation, a ranging market, because in preparation, that's what usually the market does in preparation for big news events. So there's two scenarios I'm seeing here. First, I've got this level here, which if it's broken, then I'll be looking for the market to continue to the top side to take out the next level and continued bullishness. However, if this high is not broken and we go lower, then I'll be looking for a lower level, and there's a lower zone here. Therefore, just widen this zone a bit. Therefore, a drop lower here, and then if there's a reaction and the market does not go lower into this level I marked out a couple of weeks ago, then I'll take this as the protected low and then going higher. Now, of course, that will have to include the price action. We'll see how it goes moving into Friday and beyond Friday. So we may have to wait. This may require a little bit of patience here. Let's see how it goes. It's not always easy to tell, and especially gold. Gold's very volatile in nature. So these are the two scenarios here. And if I look on the daily, yeah, really want to break these structures, these highs, in order to confirm a new uptrend. In the moment, still I can see lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs here, and lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. So no clear indication so far of the market heading higher, at least not in terms of probability, even though we had this reaction here and this bullish engulfing candle. The weekly really shows that that may not yet, the bullishness has not yet fully come into the market. So let's see what happens. We may reject this level and break through it and come down lower. If that's the case, then there will be no trade there. So that's gold for you. Next, let's go to the S&P. S&P has been one we've been monitoring for a few weeks here. And yeah, as we've mentioned, as we've expected, really lower prices. Really, the market is collapsing right from the very high here. We expected that to be the case. So many weeks, we've gone back now, how many weeks? A month ago, really. Yeah, big drop here. Heavy market here. Let's look on the 4-hour from last week. So from last week, I was looking at an indication of where the market will continue its downfall from, and indeed it did that from this level, broke down, gave a retracement, and continued to the downside. So as expected, even more weakness. So now let's zoom out. Let's look at the weekly. Can delete the previous levels. And I drew this one as the next target. So here's the level I'll be looking at next. So it looks like we are now heading into that level, and we may be going even beyond that. Now, with that in the back of our mind, what can we look for? Well, so far we've got retracements, and a break. So the real scenario here, I don't really see, with it being very heavy, I don't really see anywhere for the market to reach higher up. I just see a continued meltdown. Basically, I've had this level being broken, continuing lower. So really the next idea would be a break to the downside, then a possible retracement, perhaps to the original level up here, and then continued bearishness, because only looking at the sell scenario here, that's the high probability, that's where the momentum is, that's where the clear direction of the high time frame is, and we are going lower. It's quite clear to see. I'd be surprised if the market makes a sudden big reversal. So let's wait for a little bit longer, I think. Yeah, as again I said at the beginning of the video, beginning of the quarter, beginning of the month, it's NFP week. We may want to let the market settle a bit. So no rush to really enter this idea. But that is the high probability outlook that I have on it at the moment. Okay, let's move to the next one. We've got oil, another sort of favorite one of late, I could say. What have we got on oil? Well, continued downtrend. Last week was indecisive. Looking at the daily, I was expecting slight indecisiveness in the market. Here's the week, and we basically ended up in a doji candle, almost where we started. So where next for oil? Well, I to be honest with you, I'm seeing more downside here. At the moment it's weak, so no clear confirmation of bullishness. So where the bullishness could come in is if it breaks the previous highs up here. That would be bullishness for me. At the moment, we are a little bit away from that level, aren't we? Not quite near. So the question is this doji candle a sign of a possible reversal? We don't know yet. The bias is still bearish, so I am going to look at the bearish idea for now. If we break these highs, I'll have to reassess the situation. However, I'll be looking for a break of the low, breakdown, pull back to a better price, and then continuation to the downside. So I'm looking at these lows right here, and for the market to reach further down into that level. So we're not that far away. This may be a very short trade. If I go back to the weekly, we're very deep in the retracement, so it's becoming kind of riskier to enter sells here because we're in a very deep retracement. If you want to see what I'm looking at, the low here to the high, we really entered the very bearish scenario, a lot of selling momentum, and we may have exhausted that now. We're now at the 78 target level and hit that, and yeah, we'll produce that doji. So let's see if we've got further bearishness. It's a bit riskier on this occasion, so I want to see a reaction. You can see a zone here. So if we get a reaction off this zone, that could also hint at a possible sell. So those are two scenarios there to look for, unless we have massive bullish momentum and then we break through these highs and then the whole scenario breaks down. I have to reassess what happens from there. Okay then. So that's oil. This may require a bit more patience. Might want to see the market develop a little bit more price action. It's still too early to tell. And yeah, last week may have tested your patience, but like I was saying, it needed a bit more patience because the probabilities were not in our favor here. In fact, I could probably draw this zone a little bit wider. You can see here a bit more clearly. Yeah, and this week may be the same case. So let's see if that's what happens. It's really neither here nor there at the moment. That's why I'm hesitating. Maybe you could tell that I am not as not favoring this setup as much as the others. So I want to see a bit more clarity, to be honest with you. Okay, that's oil. And once again, lastly, let's look at Bitcoin. Okay, so last week, this was the scenario I was looking at. A run into these highs before a drop. And what happened? Well, we didn't reach there. The market ranged for the whole week. If I look at the weekly, you can see previous week, neither here nor there. Daily, lots of candles, lots of sideways movement. So let me just delete what we looked at previous week. And I still favor the same scenario going down lower still. So with this scenario, still the same thing. Let's just expand that out. Yep. So that's still the same thing that I'm expecting. These are the daily candles. Let's look at the 4-hour. So into this zone, we got a rejection. If I draw the fib, low to the high, we've got the 50% level right here. We've got the 61 8-figure, and we've also got the 71 here. Then I can just remove that. So there we go. These are the levels to look for. I can delete this old line here. And looking to go down further into the 18,000 level. Yep. Let's look at the weekly. Yep, this was the level that we marked out previously. So further downside momentum, as long as we get that nice more expensive price to short from, better risk reward, higher probability, and coming back down to this level, we are in a bearish environment. You can see, clear to see, if I go to the daily, lower lows, lower highs, we are very much bearish. We have got this big ranging environment. However, you can see that these lows right here were taken out by this low and these lows. So still downside momentum. Quite clear to see, at least for the moment, at least in the short term. After that, if we reach this level and we go down, we may see lower prices. However, we'll see what happens if the market produces that. At the moment, too early to tell. Okay, gonna delete this line here. It's not necessary. Okay, back to the 4-hour for the week, and here you go. Okay, so that's the high probability scenario that I'll be looking at on Bitcoin with the bias to the downside. Right, so these are the charts I'm looking at for this week. I hope you follow along with me and manage your risk as always. I keep mentioning that, and pick your charts carefully. We've got dollar-based pairs here. We've got pound-based pairs. 2 of them, in fact. So watch out for that. Gold as well. Oil, we've got obviously news in the middle of the week with OPEC. So you may want to wait until after Wednesday. Right then, so that's it for this week. My name is Dima. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you have a great trading week. It is NFP, so remember that you may want to sit out on the sidelines if the setup is not clear. So thanks again. Catch up with you next week with a new week, fresh setups, and more opportunities in the market. All right. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye for now.